Hey man, say man, it's that time once again for me to talk about 4 Nights of the Apocalypse. This week it is chapter 245, which is titled Grail of the Beast. And for the cover image we have Galahad with his small katana. Well, it's got a specific name, doesn't it? It's what's it called again? I was gonna say a tanto, but it looks more like a wakizashi. It might be more of a tanto from this sort of image, but in the chapters when we see him fight, I think it's more of a wakizashi, probably because of Galahad's lack of height. But anyways, let's get right into it. We go to Leonis to see just a whole bunch of dead niggas on the floor with Hauser just horrified at the scene. Like, this nigga Cath is a sick nigga. Why is that nigga's head on a pike? As even the young and old, both elderly and children, were all just maimed. Gopher realizing that Cath did survive, but it came back way sooner than expected. And Hauser just feels bad because these niggas were genuinely due to go home and everything, and it's ridiculous. With one of the nights going to the two of them, with the total being revealed that nearly 7,000, counting the king. And just like that, Camilliard is off the face of the map, with Gopher wondering if it's retaliation for being defeated by the Sins, or if there was some other goal in it as well. But the Knight helps with Gopher's theory, stating that according to the survivors, the monster that struck them seemed to be looking for something, which concerns the both of them, as it concerns me as well. As I'm just thinking to myself, Guinevere, because the king was amongst the bodies that were found, but the knight didn't mention anything about the queen or Princess Guinevere, so that's a really big cause for concern. We knew Cath was obsessed with knowing the future through Kaleidoscope, so that's just some food for thought. Anne has been contacting the knights. The fact that it says Lancelot's group is insane. Not just have the Knights of Prophecy, just Lancelot's group. Like this nigga's the main character. No, that's this nigga, my son. But that's neither here or there. And we go back to see Anne just telling them to get to stepping and come back as soon as possible, since they've met Merlin and learned of her secret plans, which Percival confirmed that they did. He looks like he's fighting for his life. Like, look at his face, man. But then another voice asks if Anne is vice captain. And I'm not sure if I'm tripping, but she seems to be pretty more irritable at the moment than normal. And she's just like, why would I ever be vice? And sees unknown to her future children, and even sees her daughter clutching onto Percival, which obviously the arrow there means that she notices. And she's just like,
who the fuck is this nigga, bro?
With Nassians being indifferent towards it, but Anne's face is just, Anne begins yelling at Percival, talking about I hope you're not up to any nonsense since you're married 2 times over. With Percival trying to explain himself and stuff, with Tristan even trying to back him up, saying that it's really complicated. But Nassian's trying to calm Anne down, since they need them, and ask where's Lancelot. And then they're just like, he's kind of in the middle of something right now. And down below we see the continuation of the fight between Lancelot and Galahad. And Lancelot's just like, oh shit, just like before, all 5 of my senses are completely gone. This kind of magic, and questions the magic force. Galahad goes in for a clean sweep, but Lancelot still does. What is going? This nigga has none of his senses right now. None of the 5 senses are working for this nigga, and he's still able to dodge him by blinded, deaf, nose blind, taste blind, no feelings. Man, this nigga Lancelot's different. I mean, he could just be reading his mind to know. If Galahad just brushing off as, okay, so you know my attack range by now, and congratulates him for dodging that strike, which I can't lie, that's kind of patronizing. Before he does this incredible spinning kick, like it's a goddamn renewal taekwondo move, absolutely getting Lancelot in the chin. And I don't know, this panel looks really good to me. I don't know why. Y'all know I'm not a Lancelot hater, but I don't know, maybe that's the factor. And Galahad thinking that obviously it's GG's, it's time to end this, but then it's just like, oh wait, you can't hear me right now. Like, this dickhead, bro. And he sort of just monologues that since you've lost all your senses thanks to his magic, which is called sense blocking, which is it seems like such a lame ability, but with Galahad's general fighting skills, it's probably the worst ability a nigga could give him, genuinely. Like Galahad, because of how good of a fighter Galahad is, an ability like this which just blocks off the senses, it's like an instant win for him. Like, say it was like just some other no-name knight, or some no-name knight who for somehow was able to push Galahad to this point, then all Galahad would have to do is just, okay, your senses are mine, just block him out, and then that's it. Like, because obviously the normal reaction would be to panic that obviously you can't see or feel that your senses are gone. You'd panic, you genuinely panic. And even Galahad states so right here, and that thanks to that, Lancelot would hardly be feeling any pain, and that he'd only feel the fear of death that may come at any time. I am curious, could Galahad possibly not only just take every single sense, but could he possibly take a singular sense, and could he be able to apply it to himself as well? And Galahad's just monologues about how it's a shame that with his talent he could really make a cut in the Knights of the Holy Grail, but his luck ran out once he dared to pose as Lancelot, strongest holy knight in Camelot, with Lancelot asking if he'd admit I'm Lancelot if he beats him. And then within a blink of an eye, Lancelot disappears right in front of Galahad, and Galahad's just like, yo, what the hell, where is this nigga, my nigga? And then Lancelot speaks in his head, talking about this way we're even, which confuses Galahad on how he can speak inside of his head, since Lancelot is now using zero sign, and states that he's never going to see or sense him again. Well, it's limited depending on how long Lancelot can accurately keep it up without giving off intent. But regardless, Galahad, on guard, looks around to see where Lancelot may come from. Give me your neck. Bang! Right in the back of his head. He swipes. Nothing. Sternum open. Get checked for that, kid. And Galahad is wondering how on earth Lancelot can tell where he is, and is just slashing about, sick and tired of this shit, with Lancelot even saying that he can't precisely aim at him through his killing intent alone, and that his reaction speed is pretty up there as well. And it's just like, in my current state I have to rush in and hope for a draw. So he genuinely bonks Galahad in the side of the face. But in that moment, Galahad does three slashes that accurately hit Lancelot, knocking him back. And Lancelot is just talking to himself like, that was so shit. If that Bound would laugh at him if he saw him like this. But then realizes that his senses are all back. And then seeing the distance between them, Lancelot realizes, okay, so it's the range thing of about 100 feet, and that it's fully reset once I'm beyond that range. And Galahad thinks the same applies to him, but Lancelot's just like, nah, I don't really have restrictions. Which is true, zero sign really doesn't have restrictions. It's just limited to a person's emotional state, and obviously the age he is, Lancelot is still as calm and collected as he likes to be, or a farmer warrior and all. He still obviously gets his stints. Lancelot asks Galahad if he wants to keep going or maybe just save it, and that he wants to fight him at full health besides, and with his best weaponry as well.
Say that again?
Does that imply Dubs is currently in the workings of making Lancelot's weapon? Did they see Dubs before they came out to Camelot? Which would have been the smart choice to do, to be honest. And Galahad just calls it a cop-out, talking about some, so you're playing the I really wasn't trying hard right now. And it's just like, nigga, fuck all that! Nah, at the end of the day, you're dying here, right now. And Percival comes in and is just like, okay, let's calm down, guys. Let's calm down. And states that he has Anne on the crystal, I was about to say phone, crystal ball, and that there's big trouble in Britannia, with Tristan attesting to it and that it's awful. And Lancelot hears that it's Anne, is just like, oh shit, and it just cuts off Percival, telling him to give him that real quick. And before Percival can even say anything, Lancelot just speed blitz. That's actually speed blitzing, as Percival didn't even realize that it got snatched from him. Lancelot calls out to Anne, who asks what he wants, and asks if the only way to undo interrogator is to admit that you lied, which is the case. Meanwhile, Yasei is over here trying to convince Galahad to stop fighting. But Galahad genuinely concerned. Look at him, he's stuttering. And Lancelot reveals that a few days back he asked if he had business waiting over in Benwick, and that he had said no, but it was a lie, and that the truth is there's a woman that he cherishes more than anything, and if he wanted to protect her. He had to go see Bond to train, to get some more training to do so. And the revelation just sort of stun locks everyone for a second before we see the restrictions of the interrogator being released from him. And look at the eye widening. He's just like, holy shit, I can breathe again. And I can't lie, I was one of them niggas who didn't believe in the theory that Lancelot was being affected by interrogator this whole time. I was one of the main niggas. I'll be the first to admit that. This upscale is this is upscale on both Anne and Lancelot, because this is absolutely ridiculous. This is genuinely ridiculous. An entire arc, this nigga has been nerfed. Oh my god, bro. I say that like Meliodas didn't do the same thing, you know. Like Meliodas started out the story nerfed, so that's neither here or there. Like I didn't believe that was actually the case. Like that's actually some bullshit. I was believing that the Knights were really getting close to his level as well, man. This shit's stupid. This shit's so stupid. Oh my god, Nakaba. And Anne is just like, nah, nigga, are you serious? You've been affected by my magic this entire time? And Tristan obviously goes back to the topic also, you do have a girl you love, with Lancelot completely ignoring that as he gives the crystal ball back to Percy. And you say he's trying to reason with Galahad, saying that it is actually the Lancelot they knew. And Galahad is just like, nigga, he would have defeated me in an instant if that was the case. With Yasei admitting that that is the case as well, but tries to reason, but gets interrupted with Lancelot saying like, okay, let's go again, little nigga. As he cracks his neck, and Yasei wisely steps off to the side. Galahad's just like, okay, man, let's get to it, man. I'm sick of these pointed, and Lancelot completely knocks him out in one strike before anyone could react, answering, yeah, me too, before just passing out on the floor. And that's actually where the chapter ends, you know? Yeah, what to say. There's quite a bit to say without Yasei in the picture.
And you shut the fuck up!
The first point to talk about is obviously Cath's shenanigans being discovered. I feel like this was completely unnecessary from Cath. Like, go for theorize, it could just be retaliation for being, you know, dicked down the way he did. But at the same time, I'm just like, if he wants to slowly rebuild his power and stuff, wouldn't you be a bit more discreet with it? But with Hauser stating that it's truly the works of a beast, maybe it's a case. Wait, hold on. Maybe it's a case of, because we've seen what Cath's eyes were looking like last time, right? So what if, stay with me now, Cath's body is just moving on its own. What if this is genuinely pure instinct? There's no reasoning or talking with this nigga. What if this is just pure instinct, as his consciousness is trapped in that genjutsu, that premium genjutsu that go for? So what if his body is just doing this shit, looking for a way to build up power as soon as possible? Like, I thought maybe eating humans was the case, that would be the case of that, as we saw him having been finished eating the father of those two children. But at the same time, if that was the case, then why on earth would it just leave a scene of destruction? It would do shit quietly, right? So that leaves me to believe that this nigga Cath might genuinely be a hater to his core, like I said also so long ago, to the point where he instinctively, his body instinctively just makes a mess of this shit just to let his nuts hang, his non-existent nuts hang, to show that I'm still out here, nigga, and I'm still willing to do what I gotta do to destroy the world. Dumbass motivation, but again, let me not give Cath too much credit. But there's also the concern of what he was looking for. Like I said, it's obvious that he was looking for Guinevere, in my opinion. He was obsessed with knowing the future. That's why he had her kidnapped when she was like, what, 7 or something? I can't remember. But, no, not 7, like 8, 9, I can't remember. But that's neither here or there. No, it's when she was 12. There's a 4 years difference between the Knights and Guinevere. So yeah, it was when she was 12. I don't know where I'm getting these younger ages from. What's wrong with me? But so I'm worried for Guinevere and her mother, because neither of their bodies were reported in the autopsies. Well, I can't say in the head count. Otherwise, the knight would have said it, because he mentioned the king. So I'm guessing Guinevere and her mother are alive. Maybe Cath had captured both of them, or one of them, and the other escaped somehow. But or maybe amongst the survivors is the queen. But I feel like that would have gotten mentioned. Anyways, that's that whole plot point with Cath. Next thing, does Anne seem a lot more aggy than usual, or am I tripping? Because I feel like she kind of just went off the rails for no reason. Pregnancy hormones? Who knows? Now with the Galahad and Lancelot fight, so I think it's pretty cool. I'm not mad at this conclusion. I'm really not. The reveal of sense blocking makes sense. I don't know why I didn't pick up on those cues beforehand, because now looking back at how Nakaba did the scenes, it's just like, okay, that makes sense. But obviously Lancelot never answered how he was able to block. Oh, he did answer the question of how he blocked Galahad's strike, because Galahad asked if when he was reading his mind, are you using my intuition or killing intent to track me? And obviously Lancelot essentially answered the question in his head to us, since he said it was hard to accurately just track him through killing intent alone. So it's probably through that in which he blocked the attack, or he's just that damn durable. Anyways, the reveal of him having been under interrogator, and this nigga had been using it since this chapter all the way up until now, is just like wow. Because I was over here, I was giving niggas credit. I was giving the Knights of the Apocalypse credit. I was giving the Knights of the Grails credit. Well, specifically Galahad credit for the kind of performance that they was doing, landing a scratch on Lancelot. I mean, it's still a feat even if he was nerfed, but the fact that Lancelot was so able to instantly defeat Galahad. This nigga's too strong, man. This nigga is like, there's nothing more. And obviously the reveal of him liking someone, obviously Guinevere, which is strange, but you know, Nakaba's not gonna be Nakaba. I'm not dismissing that, it is strange. But anyways, moving on. The next chapter is probably gonna be obviously them waiting for Galahad to wake up, or we're gonna get a little flash to what Cath is up to, maybe the state of him and Guinevere. Maybe Guinevere didn't get taken by Cath and she hid and ran away somewhere else, or couldn't be amongst the survivors for some reason. Otherwise, I can't imagine what Cath could be looking for. Chaos. He might be starting to make his way towards Camelot. If his body remembers Merlin's scent, then he could be making his way to Arthur as we speak. So maybe that's why it's important for the knights to both sets of knights to be there as well. Obviously we'll get Galahad waking up. They're gonna discuss things. They're probably gonna clarify how they got into the future and such things, because even they don't know. So maybe remember that mirror that might come up again, an important point, and maybe that mirror will become a plot point against Cath, or maybe it's just a nice bit of picture to add to a colored cover image, and I'm reading way too much into it, but that's neither here or there. I'm looking forward to seeing what else this arc is going to show us. That's all I have to say for this chapter review. Thank you for watching. Like if you like the video, subscribe if you're interested in more of this or just more of my general content. I'm gonna get a Zender Zone 0 video out sometime soon. I need to really finish the other half of that first part. Another, like I said, other commentary videos and such things will be on their way. Kingdom Hearts got announced to be at D23 on the 17th, on July 7th, 13th, which is 1307. Nomura, we know what you're doing, so I may watch that and give a reaction to that as well. But yeah, like if you like the video, subscribe, comment your own thoughts, feelings, and opinions on this matter. How do y'all think this arc is going to go down? What do you guys think Cath is looking for, if not already Guinevere and Arthur? And yeah, just take care, guys. Bye.